please introduce yourself and tell us where you're from.
Okay, Herman Anthony. I'm from Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
So how long have you worked for Alcami?
I've been at Alcami now for about 10 years.
Okay. And what is your role here at our Germantown, Wisconsin?
Custodial.
Well, we have quite a few veterans here at Alcami working in all areas of our business.
Mm-hmm.
I understand that you're a U.S. military veteran as well?
Yes, I'm a Vietnam vet,
Okay.
Army, U.S. Army, and also spent some time in the Air Force Reserves for about 10 years.
You know, in your experience in the military, which of those values do you feel like have been most influential or most helpful to you in the workplace?
The military manners of being disciplined through your life
Mm-hmm.
has set you goals for life as being a disciplinarian, person who does a job, get the job done till it's finished, you know.
Right the first time?
First time,
Yeah.
only time.
We're here today to talk to you about the Honor Flight program.
Mm-hmm.
They make sure that you veterans are honored properly and they get you to Washington, D.C., right?
Sort of pick you, you know, I guess maybe you could say almost like a lottery.
Okay.
And they go by your demographics, where you were in service and what you did in service. The particular flight that I went on was basically mostly combat veterans who served in Vietnam.
How did you get involved? Did you apply, or did a friend or family member sign you up?
A friend of mine through the VA was telling me, he says, you know, next year, so they're going to start doing Vietnam vets.
Yeah.
And I thought, well, that'd be great, you know. And he said, you know, I'm thinking about signing up, you know, just in case they get us in the lottery, and we may be able to get in there.
Right.
So we both signed up together, you know, and I got picked first, and he hasn't been picked yet.
Okay.
I will say that it is an honor to go on that flight. It's hard to understand and believe that we went through the things that we went through at the periods in our lives, and all of a sudden we're being honored, you know.
And how did you find out you were selected to go?
Well, my wife and I were on a cruise, believe it or not. We were in Alaska. We were on a train that took us up to Seward, Alaska, for our ship to come back down to Vancouver. And while we're sitting there looking at the scenery of Alaska, my cell phone rang, and I said, well, you know, I don't want to answer this thing. I'm on vacation. Yeah. And I finally answered it, and the young lady gets on board, and she goes, Herman Anthony, she said, this is Marge from the Stars and Stripes honoring you for the honor flight. And she says it's going to take place November 3rd. At first I didn't want to go. I'll be honest with you. I just thought, I don't want to go through all this, you know, long day or whatever to Washington, D.C. But a little push from my wife, I want to say a big push, actually.
Okay.
A big push from my wife said, go, you need this, you need this, you need this. This has been almost 50 years, and you need to understand that things have changed and people do recognize you as a veteran, you know. Just a very emotional trip towards the end, especially, you know, just to see guys, my peers, my age group, finally getting the recognition that they needed.
So before you left, what were you most excited for? What were you most excited to see?
I was just excited to see if I knew anybody, probably. We were told that we were going to see the president. Things like that, things that I know in my lifetime will never happen again, other than this time. You
were notified that someone special was going to be accompanying you, right?
Yes. About 5 or 6 days before the trip, I got a call, and the call came from a guy who says, Herman Anthony. And I said, yeah. He says, I'm trying to get in touch with you. He says, I'm going to be your guardian angel. And I go, oh, really? You know, so he says, sure. He says, we need to talk. He says, I want to know a little bit about you, and you can know a little bit about me. And I really didn't follow baseball that much. So he says, well, my name is Corey Knable. And I said, okay. And he says, I'll be your chaperone or your guardian angel. Well, at the time I was at work. And the guys at the lunchroom were sitting there, and I said, who is Corey Knable? And they said, oh my God, Herman, he's our star pitcher for the Milwaukee Brewers.
Yeah. So what was the experience like, you know, having him as your chaperone, and what did he say to you?
He asked me every question there was. He asked me, how did I feel? How was it being drafted? Why were we drafted? you know, but he kind of got it at the end. He really got it at the end when we landed.
Okay. Yeah. So what was that homecoming experience like at the Milwaukee airport?
So then when we landed, you know, we came to the sea of people. It just was just breathtaking. Since then, which has only been, what, 5 days, I've gotten 7 calls from Corey telling me how appreciative he was and how appreciative our country should be of the veterans, you know, the sacrifices that they gave.
When you came out onto the concourse, there were friends, family, and other coworkers?
And employees.
Yeah.
I think the thing that shocked me was my employees were there. I had no idea. I had no inkling. Nobody even said anything to me, and I'm down there every day, and I'm around every department there is. And when I got there to see everybody from HR to my peers, you know, it was like, my wife even made the comment, she says, "How did that happen?" And I said, "I have no idea." So that memory of my co-employees being there will always be in my heart, you know, because a lot of them came from far away. It wasn't like they came 4 blocks, 5 blocks, 6 blocks. They came miles and miles because I know where we work at and where we live.
Sure.
And for them to make that sacrifice made me feel that the sacrifices that I made were all embedded and better, you know.
Absolutely.
I went for the guys who didn't make it.
Mm-hmm.
They came for me because I made it.
Yeah.
And that makes a big difference.
Herman, thank you for your time today. And again, on behalf of all of us at Alcami, thank you for your service. And we're glad you had a great flight.
And thank you.